Good evening, my name is Jason, and today we're going to check the suspension on my 2019 Hyundai Elantra. The first thing you would do is lift up the car and make sure it's supported on jack stands. I already did that. That was something I did off camera. Let me show you how it's set up. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the tire. I'm using a 19mm lug socket. So the first thing I want to check is my springs and strut. So inspecting these ones are good. I don't see any nicks or any corrosion. Next is my strut, which is this right here. I don't see any leaks. On the strut. Next thing is my tie rod. I don't see any cracks on the tie rod. I don't see any play on the inner tie rod. No play there. The next thing my upper ball joint. I don't see any cracks there. There's no cracks on my lower ball joint. Also on my driver's side, my spindle is good. My control arm is also free from any damage. So the suspension in this car visually is pretty good. Passenger side, my spindle looks good. My lower control arm is free from any damage. On my passenger side, I don't. Again, my springs have no nicks in them. They're free from corrosion. My strut or shock has no leaks on it. My outer tie rod has no cracks and it's not leaking. There's no play on my inner or outer tie rods. My lower ball joint has no cracks. My upper ball joint is also free from any cracks. These are all good components to have good because they are for, you know, to make sure you have proper alignment. Also, the one thing I realized is I have a McPherson strut, meaning my spring is attached. My spring's above my ball joint. So let's move on to the rear. I did forget to mention is this car does have an electric suspension due to that I have different drive modes. Here in the rear, I don't see any leaks in the bushing holding the strut, and there's no leaks on my strut back here. Same thing with the coils. The coils are free from corrosion. I have no nicks. On my driver rear, I see that the coil is free from corrosion. There's no nicks. Also, my bushing is not leaking, so that's good. And then also, I don't see any leaks coming from my shocks, so those are good too. Next, I'm going to put the wheel on and let's do the bounce test. Now that I got my vehicle on the ground, let's go ahead and torque it to 80 foot-pounds. Where's my key? So for the bounce test, you just push bounce 1, 2, 3, and that's good. Let's go to the front. Good. 1, 2, 3. So my shocks and suspension are, you know, that's another way to check to see if your shocks and springs are good. So the condition of the suspension on this car is good suspension.